Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of yoga for the back body with Jim. Let's come to a comfy seat today. You can sit up on a cushion if you have one here, or maybe you got a blanket folded up, but I'm just going to sit normal today because I really want to feel my sit bones connecting to the earth. So you're going to take so if you tip forward just a little bit, you'll feel your sit bones kind of move forward. But then I want you to start tipping back until you feel the sit bones pushing into the earth. And then I want you to straighten out your spine, engage your core here, right here. Lean back a little bit till those shoulders are over your hips. And then I want you to take your shoulders, bring them up to your ears, roll them down on your spine. Notice the upper shoulder muscles here. I'm going to turn a little bit so maybe you won't be able to see it because I have on a shirt over top. But I want you to notice this area right here. When you pull them back, how it contracts. And you'll also notice a broadening across your collarbones. So we're actually actively engaged here. We're not just sitting. We're engaging those muscles and engaging the muscles in our core. What this does is this will help us with our posture and get those muscles used to not just being relaxed all the time, but aiding us in establishing a better posture and helping us reach out of our lower back by engaging the core and not letting our lower back disc compress quite so much. So come to a comfy meditative seat. So you've probably come to this meditative seat before, but you've been kind of relaxed. I'm asking you to come to the meditative seat engaged. Pull your ears back over your shoulders here, aligning our spine a little bit more. Tuck your chin. Take a deep inhale now that we're all engaged and fill up into the belly. And then audibly exhale. Do that 2 more times. One more. Let's start scanning our back body from the toes all the way up to the crown of our head. Notice any places of tension today. So the first week, we really focused on our upper backside body, meaning the shoulder, lats area. Last week, we focused largely on the hamstrings, lower back area. This week, I want to do some core exercises. And don't worry, we're not going to do the entire 30 minutes on the core. I know that's not anybody's thing, not even my thing. But we're going to focus on the core because a strong core allows us to maintain a long, lengthened spine, right? So these core muscles are actually the front side that supports the back side. So we're going to do some core work, but in an effort to strengthen or lengthen our spine. Because having a stronger core will keep you from dumping into your lower back, or maybe sometimes even slouching so much. Because if you just let your core relax, you'll notice that you kind of tend to come forward. When you engage your core, you sit up taller and your shoulders kind of naturally pull back a little bit. But first, let's do a little bit of breathing, and let's do some 4-count breath. So let's close our eyes down, or not. If you're uncomfortable closing your eyes, just shift your attention Sorry, I have to also. I forgot to put my watch on, so I make sure I don't go over time here. Um, so shift your attention to a little spot in the floor. Maybe I tend, if I'm going to keep my eyes open, I'll throw something in the floor, like right in front of me, like a piece. I would say a piece of change, but nobody has change anymore. So, but I'm going to close my eyes down. You do what's perfectly fine for you. So we're maintaining the core, keeping our spine lengthened, chin tucked, ears back, shoulders back, right? So keep it there. And then we're going to start with a small, brief meditation. We're going to inhale for a count of 4, pause at the top, and then exhale for a count of 4. And then a brief pause at the bottom. Now, we may extend that pause to a count of 4 also. And I know some people don't like that. It makes them feel like they're being suffocated or something. So please, if you have that issue and holding your breath in or holding your breath out causes you distress, just pause and then let it go. So we're going to start with counting up. So inhale for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top. Exhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the bottom. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top for a count of 2, 1. Exhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the bottom for 2, 1. This time we're going to pause for 4. So inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the bottom. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the bottom. 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue on with this breath at your own rhythm and pace. Let's do 3 more of those breaths. 2 more. 1 more. Release control of your breath, letting it return to its natural rhythm. Take note of how you're feeling after that brief breathing exercise. I know for myself, every time I do a breathing exercise, even if just a few reps, I feel noticeably calmer, um, maybe clearer headed. Because when you, especially if you're counting in your head, right? Like you've kind of eliminated extra thought and you're just letting those numbers go. So just notice how you feel. Maybe you don't want to put words on it today. We don't have to label everything in our lives. But when you're ready, I want you to come to your back. Extend your legs long. Take a big morning stretch here. Oh, that feels good. Reaching our toes and fingers as far as we can away from each other. And then relax into your back. So we're going to talk about pelvic tilt here for a minute. So pelvic tilt is that thing that gives you the roundness. Like if you could stick your hand under your lower back here. So pelvic tilt, we're going to tilt the pelvis up our back. So our back is flat. It's not really the natural curvature of our spine. We're all a little bit different, right? So, but it usually looks something like this. Can you see that? Sometimes I think things on these, it makes me feel like Mr. Rogers. But tilt your pelvis, lower back is engaged. Notice that to do that, you have to really engage your core muscles and your bum, right? If you engage both of those, and maybe you even feel a little bit of engagement into your upper thighs. Just notice what muscles you feel engaged when you flatten your back. So now with that back flattened and fully engaged on the floor, I want you to bring your feet in. Soles of the feet come into the mat. Knees are pointed up at the sky. So again, continue to hold that in. And then we're going to do something a little bit different today. If you've been joining me on other sessions with me on this Thursday at 8 a.m. time frame, or maybe you join at another time, but just these sessions, you know that we were doing prior to the switch, we were doing a lot of core exercise and a very specific one, right? Heels off the ground, knees in, right, center, left, center, crunch, down, legs long. Today, we're going to focus on some lower abdominal exercises. Now, the lower abdomen, right, is that part right about, can you see my fingers right here? Right below the belly button. Let's go belly button to, pubic bone kind of area. So we're going to extend our legs long and notice with our back engaged, when we lift our legs up, where we engage at, right? It's like right around here. You'll engage some here, but it's mostly here. And then we're going to pull our knees in. And then we're going to extend those knees long. Pull the knees in. Exhale long. Inhale in. Exhale long. Inhale in. Exhale long. Inhale in. Exhale long. One more time here. Inhale in. Exhale long. Hold those heels off the ground 6 to 12 inches here for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the heels really slowly. Don't just jump into it. Oh. There we go. Give yourself a hip shimmy here. I always think that feels good after. Bring your attention to that abdominal area and notice how maybe it feels like it's starting to fire up a little bit. Maybe you're building what we call in yoga tapas, or heat or fire. And now we're going to go one further. Instead of our knees, now I'm going to take my hands and put them underneath my buttocks. Mostly because I just like to do it that way. I don't know why. I think probably because when I was in the Navy, we did flutter kicks that way. Not going to make you do flutter kicks. Although if you want to do flutter kicks, they're this. They're horrible. But that's what we did in boot camp. If you're a veteran, you all probably did them in boot camp. But what we're going to do is instead of that, we're going to lift our heels up, the soles of our feet up to the sky and keep them about 6 to 12 inches off the ground on the way down. So 6 to 12 inches, inhale up, and then exhale slowly down. Inhale up, and then we're going to add a count. We're going to add that 4 count. 1, let's add 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale up. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 2. Inhale up. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale up. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 3. Or that's 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale up. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold those heels long for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, lower those heels. Again, take your hands off underneath your buttocks. If you put them there, give yourself a hip shimmy. Come back to that lower abdominal area. Notice how that's feeling. Maybe you're starting to notice a little bit of fire in your belly. All right, next exercise, we're going to work on the oblique muscles, which are on our side, which are still part of our core, right? So it's like this area right here. If you flex, maybe you can feel them. Like this would be the six-pack area. These are your obliques here on the side. So what we're going to do for our obliques is if you want to go all super advanced and you have the strongest core, you can bring your legs up and then go right, up, left, up. Or the way I'm going to teach you today is we're going to do knees. So we're going to inhale our knees in, exhale our knees to the right. Notice the twist and notice the muscles that are engaged on this left side. Engage the muscles. Don't just let them be all weak and just hanging out. Inhale up, exhale left. Again, engage the muscle, right? So you can probably feel a little bit of difference there, right? So we're going to go again, right, up, left, up, right, up, left. That's 3. Inhale up, right, up, left, up. 4, 5. Extend those legs long. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower those heels. Oh, give yourself a break here. Now, maybe you notice these obliques, right? Like if you're not really, I'm not going to say anything. Let's see. If you're a normal person, that's where your love handles are. I think everybody has a little bit of love handles there. But what we're trying to do is build up that, again, build up our core to support our spine. Especially the lower part of the spine, up from our tailbone up to about the middle of the back, because those muscles, there aren't a lot of muscles there, so their protection is from the front. If you've ever gone to a gym and you've heard of someone say when you're doing a squat or a deadlift to engage your core, that's because you're pulling a lot with your lower back there and you're protecting that lower back. So take a couple more breaths here. I know core work is no one's favorite thing. Okay, maybe it is a few people's favorite thing. But those people are probably weird. Sorry, nothing against you guys, no offense, but I have never been a big core person. Like when I go to the gym, I have to do my core work first or I won't do it. Because you can come up with every excuse at the end of a workout to not do it. So I just have changed myself to do it first. I had an Indian yoga teacher when I was in India tell me that my yoga practice could go so much deeper, especially my, physical yoga practice, if I would learn to build up core muscles. And ever since then, that's stuck with me because I never really thought about it too much. I'm hypermobile, so the flexibility aspects of it for me are very easy. But some of the more advanced poses like headstand, handstand, all those require a much stronger core. So just keep that in mind. And these are exercises. Look, if you got a piece of floor, you can do these over and over and over again, just like you can do these crunches or pretty much all the core exercises I teach. You can do these with your mat just in your living room. So keep that in mind. As we move on here, we're going to bring our sorry, give me a second. We're going to bring our left hand to the sky. Staying on our back, right? Because I want you to try to keep the shoulder pinned. I want you to let the left arm roll across your chest and then grab your elbow with the right hand. Now, trying to keep that body from twisting this way, we want to try and pin the shoulder as we pull the elbow across our body. And notice the stretch we get from the spine through the upper back or shoulder muscles, rear deltoid. This is a little bit different than we've done it before because typically we would do this sitting, but I want to do it lying today. So I feel like you can get a little bit of an extra stretch when you pin that arm, that shoulder. And then we're going to release. The left arm is going to come up, and then the right arm is going to come up, and we're going to switch it out. And then again, try to pin as best as possible keep that right shoulder almost on the floor as much as possible here. Remember, we're trying to stretch from the spine to the rear of the shoulder. It might actually help if you look the opposite direction. Maybe you get even more movement with your chin out of the way. Then we're going to bring the right hand up, left hand up. So now both our shoulders are reaching up to the sky. Hands up, both fingertips are reaching up to the sky. And I want you to try and reach as far up as you can and notice the stretch from the spine to both shoulders. Really reach. And then cactus your arms, but with our arms like this. So it's like a cactus, but from the front. Pull down, inhale up, pull down, inhale up, pull down, and hold your hands like this and let your hands fall down. And we're going to try and do some stretches now across the chest. And I know we do yoga for the back body here, but there's a reason why. Tight chest muscles pull our shoulders forward, right? They don't allow our posture to align correctly. So, in modern society, everyone sits at a desk or hunches over their phone at times. So, what we want to do is encourage our chest to lengthen, collarbones lengthen here, allowing our shoulders to more easily roll back. So, we're going to roll to our bellies, kind of come to a Sphinx pose, right? You'll feel some weight down into your lower back here in Sphinx, right? And then we're going to take one arm out, your right arm, right temple comes to the ground, and we're going to roll over onto our right side. We're just going to be here for a minute because I noticed the time. Then we're going to roll back to the belly and switch this out. Now, ideally, we would hold each one of these for a couple minutes. So, if again, something you can do at home, just roll out your mat and do this stretch. If you have any little shoulder impingements, this can feel really good to kind of lengthen those muscles. Go ahead and roll back onto your belly. Coming to that Sphinx pose. And we've talked about this before, I believe, that in Sphinx, you want to kind of engage your core to relieve the pressure off the lower back. And I actually like to kind of squeeze my butt cheeks. That also, squeezing your butt cheek engages those handful of lower back muscles you have. It looks like, if you ever see a picture, it looks like a Christmas tree almost. So hold that for a second. And then we're going to release and roll over onto our back and set up for our final resting pose. So however you like to take final resting pose, I mean, some people I've noticed lately take it with their knees up, and it's perfectly fine to do that. It actually does feel kind of good on your lower back. One of my favorite things to like to do is to take my bolster. Oh, come over here, guy. And prop my legs up on the bolster. Now, if you have blocks at home, you can do the same thing with blocks. Just put one under each knee. I like to go above the knee, just a personal preference. Close your eyes down. Go ahead and bring some movement back into your body here. And when you're ready, go ahead and roll over onto whatever side you feel calling you today, left or right. We'll push ourselves up to a seat when you're ready. Being in a nice seated, cross legged, or kneeling position with our palms together at heart center, head slightly bowed. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode or session. Look forward to seeing you again at another time. I bow to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, have a good week. Remember, do those core exercises. Don't just do them with me on Thursdays. Thank you so much.